Hi there, it's Miss Brown. Today you get a video. They've installed me a new TV back here and I have no idea how to use it yet. And I was told to keep it wrapped. So I'm awaiting instruction on that. So I might start doing some really neat things with that with you. I don't know. But today I'm going to talk to you about saturated solutions and supersaturated solutions. Like I promised in the screencast. You'll remember in the screencast I had you write down that a saturated solution held all the solute it could hold. And then I had you write down that a supersaturated solution was manipulated to hold more. So what did I mean by that? So I'm going to use an example that's very near and dear to all the southern folks. Sweet tea. If you've never traveled very much, if you leave this area, especially you start getting north like Kentucky and especially north of there, you will not get sweet tea in a restaurant. If you order sweet tea, they'll bring you unsweet tea, which I know is making some of you cringe on the inside, and some sugar packs to put in it. And that's not going to work out so well because when you start to add the sugar, as you know, if you've been in this predicament, it'll just hold a little bit, and you can just stir and stir and stir, and the sugar is just going to fall to the bottom of your glass because that unsweet cold tea is a saturated solution. It can't hold any more sugar. It's holding all it can. It can't hold anymore, it can't hold what you want. It's not going to taste like our sweet tea, we have at home or our favorite restaurant. So if you want to have sweet tea, you're going to have to go a little further to make a super saturated solution. As southern kids, when you do the tea, right? When do you put sugar in your tea? Right when you brew it, when it's hot, right? And then you put it in the fridge for a little while. And it continues to dissolve, and you put your ice in and have your cold sweet tea. Now I'll give you this little tip. When I was growing up, my mom, and she can cook anything. She is very talented, and I still call her all the time asking how to make certain dishes she made when we were growing up. But her tea was never a favorite of any of ours because a lot of times life was pretty busy in our house with everybody there, and she would sometimes not make the tea for supper until right when it was time to eat. Well, then it wasn't really cold, and she also didn't have a lot of sugar. I bet my mom in a gallon of tea doesn't even put a cup of sugar. Why even bother? I mean, it's just not even enough. And so my grandma, though, she could flat make really great tea. She knew what super saturated was, even though she probably had no idea that's what it would be called, because first of all, she made it very strong. And we came from a decaffeinated family. My family didn't drink caffeine. And my grandma used regular tea bags, and she used a lot of them. So it was very strong on that side. So it was concentrated. That was another word, concentration of solution, how weak or strong it is. And hers was very strong. Her tea would be almost black. She used so much tea. My mom didn't do that either, which probably attributed to the flavor. And my dad never wanted her to give us much tea when we stayed with her because we'd just be bouncing off the walls when he picked us up, because probably from the caffeine and from the sugar, because my grandma, I know, put more than 2 cups in every gallon of tea. Now, those of you who make sweet tea know that's a lot of sugar. She would use more than that. And of course, she made it hot, and she would make it early in the day, so it had time to really dissolve. So she'd get good and hot and just stir and stir, and so that helped her make a super saturated solution. Because it was holding that sugar. She was going to keep stirring it and getting it good and dissolved before she ever thought about putting it in the fridge or having ice on it later. So that's the difference in a saturated and a supersaturated, and something that you're familiar with. I wanted to be sure you kind of understood that, because that's hard for kids to understand sometimes what that means. Thank you.